Hey, let's have some coffee and wake up. Come on. Let's go. Randall's ready. Look at him. Doesn't he look awake? Randall looks awake, doesn't he? I guess he is after last night. Are you feeling good? Just not.
I'm tired.
Okay. Hey, it's morning coffee. Randall and I on a Saturday. We'll probably keep this up during March Madness. Hoping to. Interesting night of college basketball last night and yesterday. Hopefully we're going to have a great day today. Keep it rocking and rolling. I know Tony has been up. I don't know whether he's going to be in here or not. Guy was up before sunrise. Scotty's with us. Good morning, Scotty. Daniel's with us. Yes, life is so good. Morning coffee on a Saturday. It is very good. Hey, we had a hell of a day yesterday. I didn't even get the totals yet, man. I'm just going to tell you right now that we had a really good day, and morning coffee has turned it around the last couple of days, man. Turned it around. I love it. I love it. Wow, Randall, you would not believe how many wins that we had yesterday. It would absolutely blow your mind.
How many was it?
It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Went 6 and 3, man. How about that?
Solid
Not bad.
day.
Very solid. Let's crank it up. Got to wake up, folks. Let's go. All right. So check it out. As I get the totals here. We just won our 500th bet. Where do you see these numbers, folks? Here they are. I'm going to whip them on you. Morning coffee picks. Look at that number. 503, 431, and 17, up 50.3 units. That's pretty damn good, buddy. I'll tell you that right now. What other sports betting show can give you those kinds of stats? Only Morning Coffee brought to you by oddsjam. Please like this show, subscribe to the YouTube channel, live chat available. Let's get it. Let's get it going right now. We got Ben here. We got Neil here. Ben's been up for 3 hours on Prize Picks, Underdog, and eSports. He's an eSports nut, man. That's great. Good morning, Bobby V. So Randall's here with me today. We kind of made this something that we're going to do. We got quite a few people here now. Talk college basketball. I know he's going to be on later on Twitter Spaces too. We've decided that Monday evening at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, that we are going to have a little show here talking about the brackets and what have you. And so we'll talk a little more March Madness. It's March Madness time, and you know what that means. It's Randall the Guru time. And there's Matthew Moffett, who is now a guy who loves the song Wake Up, Randall.
He's a fan now. He wasn't last week. Changed his tune.
I know. Well, yeah, kind of in a sort of a way. All right. Let's have a little coffee together, folks. Let's drink up, and we're going to talk a little college basketball. Cheers. Good. Oh, my goodness. Here's a new person. Adrian has not been in. Randall, we're waiting for those teams that fit the mold of champions. All right, Adrian, thank you for that. And Daniel beat the closing line value 67% this past week. Way to go, Daniel. We've been on fire. How was your night in college basketball, Randall? Up and down, good, bad?
Yeah, it wasn't great. It wasn't terrible. I mean, finished 3-4. Had Sam Houston State against Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon decided to go 16 for 30 from three. So nothing you can do about that. Tip your cap, but not I mean, 3-4, not a terrible day, losing day. Not, but yeah, I had in one of the Twitter spaces I had teased. I guess it was a couple of days ago. There's only a select number of teams that can win the national championship. And as I was looking yesterday, and as I look today, it looks like there are currently 7 teams that can win the national championship based on I don't even call it a trend, just based on the stats and analytics that have been used over the years. So I'm going to save that though for Sunday. Make everybody tune in to the either the Twitter space on Sunday or the show on Monday here. So you got to tune in to one of those to get that information.
Very quickly here, and I'm a Missouri fan, so I just got to say it. By the way, Adrian said Utah State got it done.
Yeah, that was big. That was a big game for me. Needed that. That was definitely a swing game. I say a swing game. It avoided somewhat of a disastrous day. So
the line on Missouri, Alabama is now 9.5.
Yeah, and I tweeted out last night. I didn't think it would. I actually thought it would go the other way. So definitely wrong about that. I mean, it's not going to close. I mean, we're 4 hours from the game. I mean, I can't imagine it doesn't close 9.5. I mean, maybe it closes 10. I think it's too many points for Alabama to be laying. I think it's a little inflated after, they looked much better yesterday than they have in very, very recent weeks. So I think that number is just a tad inflated. I'll tell you a game that, I'm just going to give all my games out here, and obviously we'll break down more on the Twitter Spaces later this morning. But Howard plus 2.5 against Norfolk State. I'm gonna be on them. That's plus 2.5, minus 115 right now on BetMGM. It's plus 2 at most of the other books. Looks like Circa, which pretty sharp book. They have it at plus 1.5. You might be, if you haven't listened in, you may be wondering why in the world we're on Howard, but I've watched Howard play this year. Definitely not a bad team. You could have watched them last night if you wanted to. They'll be on again today, ESPN 2, 1 Eastern. So I will be tuned into that. Actually, there's 3 games that I want to watch at 1 today, Bob, or 12 our time, and that's Bama, Missouri, SLU, VCU, and this Norfolk State and Howard game. But yeah, Howard plus 2.5, minus 115. I like it. I think they win. I mean, what's the money line on that game? I don't have it pulled up. I just got spread in total. Yeah, plus 112 on Bet Rivers. Yeah. I mean, it's not worth it. I mean, if they lose by 2, they lose by 1, we win. I mean, plus 112 versus minus 115. I mean, if you're betting, $100, $15 to lay the juice, or an extra return of 12 is just, I mean, it's not worth it. As I always say, you only pay the juice when you lose. So,
right,
not too worried about that. I mean, like I said, I do think they win. I mean, if you want to take them on the money line, go for it. But We're going to have a game this year where we're going to take a team on the spread. It'll happen, I guarantee you, in the tournament. And I'll think that they have a chance to win, and they lose a heartbreaker, and you're going to be glad you took the points. So points, always, always, always. Now, I will sprinkle a money line here and there if I feel strongly about it, but usually the points for me. So Howard plus 2.5 to kick us off there. I really do. I really do like that. Yeah, I mean, there's not many games today, so I figure we can at least touch on the major ones and kind of go from there.
Okay. All right. I can do that. I was waiting for you to tell me another one that you were on there, Randall.
Oh, yeah. No, we can get, I'm only actually betting 2 games today.
Okay.
So I mentioned it earlier. Grand Canyon and Sam Houston State played last night. Grand Canyon, 16 for 30 from 3. I mean, I'm taking Southern Utah today. I'm showing right now plus 1.5 on MGM minus 120.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm taking them plus 1.5.
Okay.
Minus 120 there on MGM. I mean, here's the thing. If Grand Canyon shoots 16 for 30 again, then so be it. You can't, it's very hard. I've mentioned this several times. It's very, very hard for a team to shoot like that, in back-to-back games. The only team that did it, and I mean, they did it with a ton of success, was Villanova the year that they, had the huge run. I think they covered every game in the tournament. So Grand Canyon, actually, they beat them March 1st. That was the one game they played. They beat them at Southern Utah. So definitely some revenge here. And again, I mean, let's see what the Lobos shot, or not Lobos, the Antelopes there. Let's see what they shot in that game. I want to pull up. Give me just a second.
I've never seen an antelope shoot, man.
It's impressive.
Yeah, evidently.
So Grand Canyon in that game, I mean, Grand Canyon shot 10 for 24. I mean, I watched the game last night with Sam Houston State and Grand Canyon. The rotation defensively for Sam Houston State was atrocious. I mean, and if Southern Utah learned anything from watching that game, they're going to have to run Grand Canyon off the 3-point line. But again, in that game, it actually very much back and forth. Looking here, largest lead, Southern Utah was up 14 at one point. Grand Canyon was up 12. So definitely a back and forth game. I will say that last night, at least, it was a very pro Grand Canyon crowd. I mean, it was actually much like a home game. I mean, that place was absolutely bananas. So, probably closer to a road game for Southern Utah. But, I mean, I like both of these. I mean, again, if Grand Canyon beats us again and they shoot like that, then fine. I can live with losing a bet like that. Just because, again, it's very, very hard to do. I mean, Grand Canyon is far from Villanova in terms of athletes and players they have. So
also in distance.
Yeah, that is true. Also,
little comedy here, Randall. All right. Hey, here's what we got. We're adding these all as morning coffee picks. Missouri plus 9.5, Howard plus 2.5, and Southern Utah plus 1.5. So right now we've got 3 dogs, Randall.
We do have 3 dogs. I will tell you, let me go back to Adrian, and I see these comments I don't understand. I don't get them all. They just popped up. Adrian, you mentioned earlier, if you're still here or whether you're not, you mentioned earlier wanting to know these teams that can fit. I can tell you right now, 2 teams that are going to be well overhyped in the tournament, depending on what happens tonight. Well, one of these teams is going to be overhyped, and it's going to be either Marquette or Xavier. and you're going to see a lot of people making a case for them to win the national title. Let's just take a look here. I'm going to tell you right now, both of those teams, Adrian, if you're looking at futures on Xavier and Marquette after tonight, or you're looking at them today, don't bother. They're not winning the national championship.
Scotty wants to know whether you're back to the well with Utah State and how you lean on the Arizona game. So we'll
get to that too. So Marquette is 28-1. Xavier is 40-1. I'm going to tell you right now, they're going to take money in the tournament, and neither of those teams fit the mold to win it all. So don't get caught up in the Marquette Xavier love after tonight, because it's going to be pretty ridiculous. And honestly, depending on the first round matchup for both of those teams, and we'll just take a look here, just out of curiosity. This doesn't mean anything. Xavier set to be the 4 seed against Louisiana. This is just according to Joe Lunardi. Again, this just nothing set in stone. I don't even know that he gets the matchups right. I know he gets a lot of the teams right, but and then Marquette versus Furman. Plays Furman in round 1. Furman is solid. So I'm probably going to look to fade the winner of this game, to be totally honest with you, depending on the matchup. So yeah, exactly. Yeah, Marquette. Marquette final. And here's the thing, Adrian. These teams. I want to preface this, and I'll mention it again. Marquette and Xavier. 28-1 for Marquette, 40-1 on not Creighton, Xavier. One of these two teams could make the Final Four. I'm not going to say that can't happen, but to win it all, they just don't. They don't fit. So sure, you get to the Final Four with a 28-1, a 40-1. Yeah, you definitely have a chance. That's a great hedging opportunity, but they've got to get there for for you to be able to do that. So I guess to go back to Scotty here with Arizona and UCLA. This is going to be the first really true, I think, opponent that UCLA has faced since they lost Jalen Clark. So that's big. Oregon last night, I had Oregon, and looked good for first half, and that was about it. I lean Arizona here. I think that Arizona is definitely, I would say, they're the better team right now, just with the absence of Clark. And again, very curious to see, how UCLA responds to a team, like Arizona. So I would lean to Arizona. I'm not going to bet this game. Here's the thing, UCLA, and I'll give you one of these 6 teams, Adrian, because to me, they don't fit. But UCLA fits the mold to be a national champion. And I'll tell you, if they had Jalen Clark, I would probably, UCLA would be a team that I would look at. But the thing is, UCLA is 11-1 right now to win it all. They're probably, they probably should be in the range of 25-1. This Clark injury is big. And they may be able to get by. They may beat Arizona tonight, but eventually the absence of Clark is going to catch up to him. It's just, you saw it. Who was it? I'm drawing a blank here now. It was Michigan a couple of years ago. They lost. Shoot, I can see him. Anyway, they lost their top shooting guard. He was their top scorer, and I think they got beat by UCLA that year. So, it's going to catch up to them at some point. It may not be until the Sweet 16. It may not be until the Elite 8, but it will catch up to them, and I think it's going to be very hard for UCLA. So, yeah, Bob.
Let me jump in here real quick. There is a play, or was a play on the Positive EV page with back to the Xavier Marquette game at under 154.5 which is the actual highest total in that game, according to the lines right now. I know how you are about totals. Would you jump on a play like that? Because it was a positive EV play, and those totals in college basketball have been pretty good on the positive EV page.
Yeah, I mean, championship game, maybe they're a little tight. I mean, I could see the under being in play here. Shoot, last night on last minute betting, Oregon first half plus 2.5. We caught that, or we saw it on the EV page. Oregon lost the first half by 2. So if you got in on that, you were good. But yeah, I mean, I could see under here. I mean, anytime championship games, could be some slow starts.
Also, let's make the other big announcement because I don't know if people know this or not, but you're going to start seeing college basketball player props pop up on the positive EV page, and we hit one last night that was honestly, it was huge, with Kendrick Davis over 20.5 points, and he got 33. So when you see some of these, I really think the star players, when they pop up on the positive EV page, the high scores of the teams, I think on a lot of these teams that are pretty good, you take their over, you're going to be in good shape.
Yeah, and I'm a little disappointed. I don't know if it was on the EV page, but Jordan Hawkins last night for UConn, he just looked so passive, and I don't know why Hurley went away from Sonogo late in that game. They just totally went away with them. Yeah, Michael is exactly right. It was livers for Michigan.
Michigan, yeah.
And that was huge blow. And I had a Michigan future, I think 25-1 that year, and man, it was looking good. But yeah, that's exactly who it was. Penn State or Pennsylvania and Princeton. I'll tell you, Daniel, I don't bet the Ivy League. I think that is the most corrupt league in all of college basketball. And
now, why is that? Now, why do you say that?
Because every angle that I have in college basketball just does not work for that league. It works in every other league.
So it's corrupt?
Yeah, so it's corrupt because it should work in the Ivy League. I don't know. I just, for whatever reason, everything I have. Now, I will say, I mean, the Ivy League does a lot of things that most conferences don't do. I mean, they play on a Friday, they come back on a Saturday. So it's a little bit different, but I don't bet the Ivy League. That is one. I'll go bet the MEAC, the SWAC, which, hey, we are betting the MEAC today with Howard, but I refuse to touch the Ivy League. I can't. Okay. I don't know. I can't beat it. So why bet it? I will tell you though, Vermont and UMass Lowell, this is one of my favorite days to watch college hoops. You got the American East final here in about an hour and a half. Always look forward to watching that game on a Saturday morning with a nice 10 o'clock start for us. So yeah, I mean, I guess we'll go down, Bob. We can touch on maybe some of the bigger games that people are interested in and kind of share opinions. I mean, Ohio State Purdue is a huge game. I'm going to tell you, I am pulling very, very hard for Ohio State because, man, if they win today and can somehow win the Big Ten, ooh, buddy. I mean, we might have Scotty's truck. We might have your truck. We might have a Brinks truck. I mean, we will fade Ohio State for, I mean, whatever the sports books will allow you to get down. I say that, I'm not being serious, but that will, I mean, fading Ohio State will be the biggest fade.
That'll be a biggie. That'll be a biggie. All right, let's go through a couple games here. We already know about the Alabama-Missouri game. I'm interested because who was it that was talking in the chat about Texas? Matthew. He likes Texas. Texas plays Kansas today.
Not a bad future.
Didn't Texas beat Kansas earlier this year, or am I imagining that?
Yeah, they split. Kansas beat them at Allen Fieldhouse, 88-80, I believe, and then Texas beat them last Saturday. I don't remember the score, but they blew the doors off of them. I don't know. I would lean to Kansas here, just because of the revenge angle from the last time they played. Obviously, Texas had the revenge angle from the time they played before, but yeah, I mean, I went against Kansas yesterday. Iowa State is freaking horrible.
Offensively, they're terrible.
I
Defensively,
mean,
they're kind of a crazy team, but offensively, they are pathetic.
yeah, they're awful. They remind me a lot of these Virginia teams over the years, who can't score, but they can defend. So
But
yeah,
there's the line. There's the line 2 and 1.5 mainly.
yeah. I mean, if you're playing this, I mean, what's Kansas money line? -125, -130. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
So I mean, Kansas money line. If you're messing with it,
Yeah,
that would be my play. I mean, I don't have
I
anything
agree with you.
solid here, but
Right. I agree with you 100% on that. Scotty Carell wants to know, are you on Utah State today playing San Diego State in this Mountain West championship final? What do you think?
I
I got to
mean,
say San Diego State, man.
I for betting purposes, and again, I'm not one to get caught up too much in the day to day. I'd rather have something be set up for us, here in the future.
Right.
Utah State, when they played, let's see, when was it? When they played back on January 25th. No, that was not the game. I'm looking at the wrong one. Where is it at here? When they played recently, let's see the date, February 8th, Utah State was a 3-point favorite in that game. San Diego State was up 16 at halftime. Utah State battled all the way back. That game was total stupidity within the first 10 minutes. I mean, a couple of guys got tossed. I mean, it was a total clown show. And I mean, Utah State had all of that not happened, they probably win the game. I mean, because I think San Diego State shot 4 free throws on technicals, made 3 of the 4. I mean, you can always find things to make a case for why a team should win. But here's my thing. I mean, do I love this Utah State team? Absolutely. I don't want to see them win today.
Right.
It's very similar to West Virginia against Kansas the other day. If you listen to the Twitter Spaces, I said I hope West Virginia loses at some point, because the thing is, if Utah State is the quote unquote metric Cinderella of this tournament. Like, everybody says Utah State should be in based on their metrics. The issue is no one's watched Utah State play. Now, I mean, I've watched several games, but if Utah State wins the Mountain West, now all of a sudden everybody's going to be on them, and you cannot have that in the NCAA tournament. It never works. Like, these are 18, 19, 20, unless you're Drew Timme and you're 28 years old. I mean,
Right.
these are young kids.
Right. I think the play here is San Diego State, man.
I mean, I'm not betting this game. I can't say that it is. I mean, again, I'll be 100% honest with you. I hope San Diego State wins this game. I will actually be rooting for them, because what it does for me is it sets up a fade of San Diego State in the first round, which Lenardi has them as a 6 seed right now. So maybe they jump to that 5 with a win here. But it sets up a fade for San Diego State in round 1, and it sets up a huge play on Utah State for me. Now, if it doesn't happen, I mean, I'm probably still on Utah State in round 1, but I don't love them near as much because, again, I said it the other day. On Sunday night, watch CBS or ESPN, take whatever they say and write down the opposite, because you're going to hear, Greg Gumbel and whoever else, does this CBS show, and they're going to talk about, how good Utah State is if they win the Mountain West. And this is a team to watch out for. And I mean, they've watched any Utah State basketball. They're going off of, kind of recency bias, and recency bias in sports betting is the worst. I mean, it's the worst angle that you can have. So,
all right, let's go Duke, Virginia here. This is an interesting game to me.
Yeah.
And Duke, who I thought, was not going to be that good a team this year, really kind of surprised me as to the type of year that they had. They're a lot better team than what I thought they were. And they had that 96-point game the other night.
Yep.
I mean, let's take a look at what the line is in this game.
Yeah, I mean, I said it before this tournament started. I tweeted it out. The fact that Duke was, plus 300 to win the ACC was an absolute joke. I said it last night on Last Minute Betting. If you like Virginia tonight, take them plus 240. Take a look now; they're not even close to that. And now you could basically, hedge, take Duke, and minus 142 plus 240. I mean, that's a classic ARB. I mean, you lock up profit. I liked Virginia here before the tournament started. However, I forgot about what happened at Virginia, and I'm sure you remember, Bob, the foul that was not called at the buzzer, and the game ends up going to overtime, and Virginia wins that game. Duke is coming into this game pissed. And
revenge.
The thing I like about this is I had said all tournament long, I need to see Virginia. Virginia needs to win a couple games. Like, that was my whole angle in backing them against North Carolina and backing them against Clemson last night. Was everybody said, oh, this game's huge for North Carolina, this game's huge for Clemson. Well, yeah, it is. But Virginia's been atrocious, and they had to get some things going in the right direction. I think they've done that. And so a loss here to Duke is not, it's not, I don't think, a big deal. I mean, had they gone out against Carolina, although I would have almost liked that, because it would have set up a huge play for Virginia in round one of the tournament. But the thing is, I think Duke comes into this game. Duke is pissed. I said it before. I couldn't believe they were the favorite to win it all. Duke.
I think they covered today, man.
What's that?
I think they covered today.
Yeah, I hate going against what I say pre-tournament, where I said I think Virginia has a chance to win. But Duke basically got screwed in Virginia. I would lean to Duke here. I hope Duke wins. Again, I'm not betting this game. I hope Duke wins, because I think Duke is a fade in the NCAA tournament. I think that's another darling that people are going to get behind because of the name. So yeah, I would lean Duke here, but definitely not a play. Adrian.
Cheers, guys. Cheers. And Adrian, hard to watch Utah games when they're played at midnight in the East Coast. Yeah, absolutely. Who did you say you like in Vermont versus UMass?
Yeah, I don't really have a feel here. I've watched both of these teams play. For many, many years, Vermont has been, the Catamounts have been a huge, they're the staple of the American East. Like, they're constantly in the tournament. They always almost seem to make the tournament, as a 13, 14 seed. I will tell you what, though, this UMass Lowell team is solid. I've watched several games this year. They beat Massachusetts earlier in the year, which, again, maybe not a big win. You think, UMass, whatever, but UMass is an A10 school. There's a difference between A10 schools and, America East. There's a huge difference in just the level of play. If I had to bet this, I would take UMass Lowell plus the 6.5. I think this is very similar to the Liberty Kennesaw State game, where we had Kennesaw State. Liberty was laying 6 at Kennesaw State, and that was solely based on their name. I think this line is inflated, solely based on Vermont constantly being in the tournament, and UMass Lowell kind of a team that's not. If we look here, what happened in the regular season, UMass Lowell lost to Vermont on February 11th at Vermont. They lost by 12. They beat them at their place on January 11th. So a month prior to that, UMass Lowell had beat them by 15. So split the regular season. I mean, you're going to turn this game on here in about an hour and a half. And I mean, Vermont's going to be rocking. But Bob, if you remember, I think it was 2 years ago. Remember when we had Hartford at 10-1 to win the American, and they were catching, I think, 9.5 at Vermont that Saturday, and they pulled it out. So, no, don't have a UMass Lowell future here by any means, but I think 6.5 is too high. I think this is solely a play on the name of Vermont, just people loading up on them because it's a popular team.
So here's
March
what we
Madness,
got.
Vermont.
I got to throw this at you right now. We're making all 6 of these morning coffee picks. Missouri plus 9.5 on FanDuel, Howard plus 2.5 on BetMGM, Southern Utah plus 1.5 on BetMGM, San Diego State on the money line on BetMGM, Duke minus 2.5 on Caesars, and Massachusetts Lowell plus 6.5 on BetMGM. That's 6 morning coffee picks that we just pulled out of this little get together here, Randall. William, just joined. Do you think there's a dark horse in the tournament? William, glad that you joined up with oddsjam. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel. Anybody that's not subscribed, please do now. We would appreciate it. What are your do you have a dark horse?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, a dark horse in terms of, teams that I think are going to make a run, or I don't know that there's really necessarily a dark horse of a team that can win it all. I mean, I would say teams that I'm going to definitely look to back in the first round. I mean, West Virginia, you've heard me mention them. I actually think Michigan State is another team I'm going to look at in round 1, depending on their matchup. I mean, early exit with Ohio State. So I do like that.
Plus, what you just pointed out 2 teams. I want to point this out real quick. Both of those coaches, let's talk about that real quick. Huggins and Izzo, come on. Two of the best coaches in college basketball.
Yep.
I agree with you 100%. That that doesn't that enter into some of your handicapping on these games?
Yeah, I mean, coaches definitely play a role. I mean, like I said, West Virginia, Sparty, a couple of other teams. I have a lot that I like. And obviously you can only, you can't take them all, and a lot of it's going to depend on matchup. But Utah State, we mentioned them earlier. They're a team that I'm going to look to play. Texas A&M is another one. I love Buzz Williams. Huge comeback last night against Arkansas. Biggest comeback ever, actually, in the SEC tournament. So there's a lot. There's a lot of teams. We'll get more in depth with those on Sunday and Monday. But yeah, those are a few. Utah State, Michigan State, West Virginia, Texas A&M. Texas A&M with the caveat that they don't win the Big 12 or the SEC tournament. If Texas A&M wins the SEC, forget it. I can't. You just can't go there. No one knows about Texas A&M. I've been on Texas A&M since the beginning of the year. Have made some very good money riding them. Lenardi has them matched up against Oral Roberts, which is a team that I like as well. That would be a 5-12 matchup. I'm going to tell you, if A&M wins the SEC, they play Oral Roberts. I'm going to take Oral Roberts. So yeah, those are a few teams. Some teams, on the fade list. Everybody wants to know who the dark horses are. I think it's as equally important to know who to fade in the first round. And I think Iowa State is at the top of that list. Honestly, a team nobody's talking about, and this is a team probably that a lot of people are going to mention, and it's going to be that Florida Atlantic team from conference. What is that? America? Is it the American Conference? I got to look that up.
You got me on that one.
Yeah, I should know. Shame on me for that.
Shame on you.
It is Conference USA. That's what I was going to say, but then I was thinking of Memphis, and that's different in football. So yeah, Florida Atlantic. I mean, they're going to be a team. You're going to hear about them as a team that can make a run. I don't know so much. They play UAB today in that championship game, and actually, I said before the year started, I thought UAB could make a run in the tournament, but they really disappointed me. I mean, Jelly Walker got hurt. They've had an up and down year. Florida Atlantic's going to be a team I will definitely look to fade. They're probably going to be in the 8-9 matchup, 7, maybe 7-10 if they win today. But looking to fade them as well. And trying to just look here at the bracket. Kansas State is another team. I don't think they're
I know you've been on their butt all year long.
I hate Kansas State. I mean, they're just I don't think they're very good. So, honestly, I was glad to see Kentucky go out last night, to be honest with you. That's another team to watch, Vanderbilt. If Vanderbilt gets in the tournament, it's just going to depend. Again, I go back to the media. I'm telling you guys, I can't preach this enough. It's not rocket science when it comes to March Madness. It's really not. It's actually quite simple, but people, I think, just overthink it. If Vanderbilt gets in the tournament, the uproar that will surround them being in the tournament will be insane.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they'll probably win a game because they're going to be in that 8, 9, 7, 10. They might be in the first 4, in one of those games on Tuesday, Wednesday. I mean, Vanderbilt would be a team. Now, if Vanderbilt wins the SEC, then obviously there's no argument. You can't – at that point, they become a fade. If they make the tournament and they go out today, they lose to A&M, and they make the tournament, now I can kind of get behind them. So there's always this, what if kind of looking ahead. That's always what I'm looking for. Never, I caught up in the moment. I'm looking for situations to arise based on just history. I mean, you just have to look back. I mean, tournaments over the years. I mentioned it yesterday. For this, it happened in St. Louis. Middle Tennessee State upset Michigan State, and Syracuse. Everybody was just pissed that they got into the tournament. There's no way this team deserves to be in. I think they were a 10 seed, actually. I can't remember who they played in that 7-10 matchup, but Syracuse won. That was actually my biggest bet of that game or of that round. Syracuse won. They caught Middle Tennessee State as a 15 seed. They destroyed them on Sunday, and then they made a march all the way to the Final Four. And everybody said the Syracuse team doesn't belong to be in the tournament. So look for those teams on Sunday. Who are these experts telling you shouldn't be in the tournament? Because these experts don't know anymore.
Does Vandy really have a chance, dude?
I think Vandy is very live
in the tournament without winning the SEC tournament.
I mean, from what you read, yeah, I mean they're very live. I mean, Lenardi has them as his first 4 out, but I mean Mississippi State's on the list of first 4 in. They got pounded yesterday. NC State's out, Pitt's out, Arizona State's out. I mean, all of his last 4 in are done. There's nothing they can do to improve their resume. So let's say Vanderbilt loses today by 2 at the buzzer. I mean, it's going to be hard to leave them out. Now, do I think they should be in? No. I mean, Vanderbilt, I think, is horrible. I mean, Vanderbilt's had some pretty bad losses. I mean, this team lost at home to Green. So they're not the greatest. But again, it's just going to depend. Can they win the SEC tournament? If so, fade them. If they don't and they get in, then we back them. It's pretty simple with them, at least for me. So yeah, I mean, we'll see. But yeah, let's get into some more games. I've got off a little on
Oh, no, that's all right. That's all right. We're not going to go too much longer here. Did we touch on Arizona and UCLA?
We did. Let's see what else. We talked about Kansas, Texas. Indiana, Penn State.
Yeah.
We touched on Purdue, Ohio State, but Indiana, Penn State. Again, here's another one. I love Penn State could be a sleeper in the tournament too, but it's another game. Penn State, I cannot have them win today. Like they can't win the Big Ten tournament because again, nobody knows about Penn State until Penn State does something that everybody has to recognize them for. And so an exit today against Indiana is perfect because they're in the tournament and they're a pretty good team. I will say this about Penn State, and I've said it all year long. If they had a Brandon Miller, Courtney Rain kind of guy, Penn State would be a true national championship contender. They have the guard play. They're loaded with talent. I love their coach, but they just don't have, when it comes down the stretch, they just don't have that guy like that can, go and get him a shot. Now, Pickett is probably the closest to that, and he's got some experience, in his earlier years in college playing in the NCAA tournament, but he's not a Brandon Miller, Courtney Ramey type guy. So, Penn State plus 3.5. It looks pretty good. But this Indiana team is one that I think could also make a potential run in the big tournament. So I can't bet this game. I would lean to Penn State plus the 3.5, but the future sports bettor in me wants to see Penn State go down.
Right.
But that's why I struggle this time of year in locking in. You see, I'm only actually betting 2 games today because there are things I want to see happen that, to me, I don't want to bet them and be pissed when it doesn't happen.
This Ohio State run ends. It's going to end, but we hope that it doesn't end.
Yeah. Again, they were catching what? Well, Sensabaugh yesterday was out. So that line was Sparty 4.5. And then it jumped to 6.5. And it looked like I didn't know what happened. But I guess Sensabaugh was out yesterday. That was why you had the line movement.
Right.
So testing his knee on Friday. We'll know more tonight. I'm just looking at the article here. So he ended up being out. It'll be interesting to see if he plays today. I haven't been following it, so I have no idea. Twitter 21 hours ago, it's showing he's out. I don't know. This Big Ten tournament is it's so unpredictable. It is every single year. Purdue's probably, they've probably taken care of enough business now that they're probably a 1 seed. So now does that mean they don't want to win the Big Ten tournament? No, but they're down at half, maybe they're down 10 at half. Is it worth expending a ton of energy to, try to come back? I'll tell you the matchup I'd like to see, and it doesn't really matter because I won't be able to watch it tomorrow, Bob, since we've got the Battlehawks, but Purdue, Indiana would be the greatest matchup heading into Selection Sunday if we could,
right.
If we could get that, but I don't know.
I think there's a good chance that's going to happen.
Yeah, I could see Indiana knocking Penn State off today. I would lean, but again, I'm not, like I said, I'm not rushing to bet any of these games today.
Well, look,
too much money to be made in the coming weeks.
There you go. That's what it's all about. You know what? This is the longest morning coffee show we've ever had. And you know what I got to do? I got to hit the road, man. I got to head to St. Louis. So guess what?
Real quick, though, before you go, this is an interesting one.
All right.
It is Texas Southern plays Grambling today. Grambling is 24-8. They're 15-3 in the SWAC. Texas Southern is 13-20 overall, 7-11 in the SWAC. Grambling is only laying 3 in this game. I actually have watched Grambling once this year when they played Vandy actually and beat them. it looks like in the season series, Grambling beat them pretty handily. They beat them at Texas Southern by 13, and then they won at home by 19. This line seems very, very off. I mean, Grambling only 3.
Yeah.
I mean, to sit here and say that the books are begging you to take, probably has fewer than 1,000 bets on it. I mean, if you're looking to bet this game, which I don't know why you would, but if you're looking to, I do like Grambling here minus the 3. Like I said, I watched them play at Vandy. I have not watched Texas Southern play, but I mean, they're under 500. So yeah, if you're looking for a little degenerate action, I think Grambling at minus 3 there has a little value.
There you go, folks. That's morning coffee with Randall and me. That was fun. That was long. You made me work. We got 6 bets out here. Let's hope they all come through. We gotta thank everybody that showed up. Scotty, Crowell, Daniel, Ben, Neil, Bobby V, Matthew, Adrian. Who else we got in here? Michael Foy. William. His first time. He's brand new, Randall. A brand new oddsjam member. Very cool.
I like it.
All right, folks. We'll see you later. Peace. Go Battlehawks. Caw-caw!
Money